We thank the Lord who has given us this day. I beg Him to bless your going out and your coming in. I want to talk about a topic: discovering oneself. Discovering oneself. When you discover yourself, when you discover who you are really, that is the best way to live happily. When you discover who you are, your potentials, your weak points, what you like and what you don't like, the real you. It will help you in every situation that you find yourself. You cannot be pushed around. You cannot be carried away by things you hear because nothing is really permanent. You'll be stable in whatever you are doing. One of the great men of God that discovered himself, that really know who he was and set his principles of living, was St. Paul. When we read his texts, his letters, we find out that St. Paul knew what he was really doing. He was never a confused man. He does things because he knows he's right. He does things because he wants to do it. It's not because he's pushed around to do it. That is a man that discovered himself. If we listen to one of his words, one of his letters, when he said, I know how to live in abundance and I know how to live when I lack. That is a man that is stable. That is a man that is not being carried away by things he sees around or by situations that are not pleasing to him or to what he's living at the time. That is discovering yourself. When you discover yourself, you will not be carried away by words. When people will praise you, sing your praises, you are doing well, you are this, you are beautiful, you are handsome, you are this, you are that. If you don't discover yourself, if you don't know who you are, if you are not stable, you'll be carried away. And when the bad day comes, you'll be depressed. Because maybe those people that sing the praises to you, they're no more singing. You don't know their reason of singing those praises. That is the reason why you need to be careful. When people talk, just see beyond their words. Look into what they're saying. Look into their eyes. Look on the face of the person that is telling you. Okay, even if you're not seeing the person, just look beyond of what you are hearing. Remember that the same mouth that shouted, Hosanna in the highest, Hosanna to the Son of David, they even shouted even louder, crucify him, crucify him. That is the world that we live in. We need to really set our principles of living. We really need to know who we are. We really need to know the don'ts and the likes in our lives so that when things are not the way it's supposed to be, we will still remain the person we are. Even when things are in abundance, you still remain the person you are. Unfortunately, when things are going well, when people are praising us, it enters our head and we start acting as if we no longer think. We no longer think before we do things. We start acting as if the whole world belongs to us. We no longer remember that these things will pass away. And when the bad time comes, it's as if we want to kill ourselves because things are no longer the way we are. That means you've not really discovered who you are. You've not set your principles of living. Now, in the world that we are living today, there is no how you'll be that whatever you do, people will like it. There is always somebody who is somewhere who finds fault with what you do. Okay, don't allow that to make you to change who you are. That is the reason why you have to find out when you are doing something and you hear things and you hear what people are saying. Ask yourself, that is where you make your own self-evaluation. Is this that I am doing? As in, does it represent me as a human being? Does it present who I am? Or am I doing things because I want to please people? Because I want the praises of people? Because people are saying do that, do that? Is that the reason why I'm doing it? Am I doing it because I'm convinced that what I am doing respects my dignity as a human being, then respects my fellow human being and honors God? Because whatever we are doing, we have the last day. We have to give account of everything. So if what you are doing do not honor you as a person and do not honor the God who created you, then you have to rethink. People could say so many things about one. Just as I said it before, it's not everything you do that people are happy with. Some are bold to tell you this thing is not good. Some are not bold to tell you, but they are bold to spread your name all around. They can talk about so many things about you without even asking you to know if what they are saying is true, if what they heard is true. But they keep spreading bad news about you. That is why feedback is very important. Feedback. We need feedback to be able to grow, but we don't dwell in it. We don't dwell on what we hear, on what people say. We'll take what we hear, then evaluate it, see if it's really what is important in it. We pick the important things and we move on. We leave the things that are not helpful. If we read Luke chapter 9, verse 18 to 20, you can also find the same reading in Mark and Matthew, but I'm picking only Luke chapter 9, verse 18 to 20. When Jesus asked his disciple, he was praying in a lonely place and the disciples came there. And Jesus asked them, who do people say I am? People say that John, the other one say Elijah the prophet. They are giving news, they are saying things that because that is who they think. They hear things Jesus was doing, they see what they do, but they don't really know him. You may be with somebody without knowing the person. You may live throughout your life with somebody without knowing the person. No one even knows him or herself totally, let alone knowing the other person. So some people that will say, I know him very well, I know what he can do. No, you don't know him very well, but you know him or her to an extent. You know a little of him or her. Because human beings are unpredictable. This person you see as a saint today, as a holy man or woman, can do something unbelievable tomorrow. So you don't completely say, I know this person, I know. No. You know the person to an extent. Remember Jeremiah said, the heart of man is sick and complicated. You don't know what is going on in my heart, even when I am laughing with you. That is why you must be careful. Okay, so people said so many things about Jesus because even though they were seeing him, they were always with him and all that. But they were giving wrong interpretation of Jesus' word. They interpreted him, described him wrongly because he's not the one. Jesus is a prophet or Elijah or whatever, but the real person he was discovered, was revealed by Peter. Peter was one of his disciples. This is Peter who was close to him. Remember, Judas that betrayed Jesus was also one of his disciples. That is why I say you can stay close to someone without really knowing the person. Peter was able to know Jesus because of this communion with him. And by the grace that God gave, God revealed who Jesus was to him. So to discover people, you have to really be close to this person to be able to discover, or you yourself, you have to really make a journey inward to discover yourself, because on air like this, you cannot really know who you are. But if you take a step within, if you go inward, you try to discover who you are, what you are, what as in the real stuff in you. Okay? Peter that made this declaration was because of his communion and all that with Lord, and the Lord revealed who Jesus is. So if you make that step inward in prayer, God will really help you to discover who you are. And again, when Peter said this, you are the Son of God, Jesus knows who he is. But coming from his disciples, you know that God is at work in them. So sometimes, just like Jesus did, ask those around you, how do I behave? How do you see me? What do you think about me? It's not for pride, it's not for anything, but for you to be able to see what you could correct, because no one is completely, without fault. We are all filled with weaknesses. Those who are truthful could tell you, you are this, you are doing that. Who could tell you the truth without fear? It's not those who could tell you the truth because you are giving them money or they are profiting. Yeah. They are getting something from you. It's not those that will be afraid of telling you because they see you as someone who is higher than them or richer than them or whatever. No. The one who could tell you the truth without even having fear of anything, that is going to separate people in humility. Who could tell you this is who you are, this is what you do that is not good, this is where you need to change and all that. When you get all this feedback, then look into yourself. If what they say, the good ones they say, appreciate God and appreciate yourself for the good ones in you, because everybody has potentials. Appreciate yourself. The bad ones they say, look into yourself. Okay, maybe you notice this one, maybe you did not notice this one. Okay, beg the Lord for the grace. We remember there are part of us that people know that we know. There are part of us that only people outside knows that we do not know. And there are part of us that we know but people do not know. And there are part of us that only God knows. And we don't. So when we hear those things, the feedback from people, we will be able to evaluate and see what they're saying. Is it true? Okay, thank God. If it's not true, I know I don't do this. I am not this way. Then you move on. You try to set the principles on how to live a better life. When you're able to do all this, you see that you'll be balanced in life. You'll not be carried away. You'll not be depressed. You'll always be a happy person. You'll always be one who is fulfilled and realized in life. You'll always be one who knows what he or she is doing. You know, when you ask people, they could describe you of anything. People might even tell you are the best person I've ever met. People will tell you they are the worst person have ever met. People will tell you are very wicked. No problem. Accept. What really makes me wicked? That is what I will say. I'll ask, but what really makes me wicked? Being wicked is not killing somebody or planning evil against the person. No. It could be that this person wanted to gain something, how will I put it? Wanted to draw you to use your own selfish interest, but you don't give in to that. Then you become wicked for the person. Okay, just find out the reasons, what they say, or the reasons why they say that. Then you'll be able to work on yourself, be able to pick what is important, leave the other ones, and you see yourself going higher. But don't expect everybody to be praising you every time. And don't even expect that you always be said bad things will always be said about you. No. Even if there are 100 that say, there are 99 that say bad things about you, there is always one who say good things about you. Don't place your mind on the bad ways. Even when people always say bad things, don't stay there. Don't live a life of self-pity. Don't let that kill your emotions. They're always saying, but they don't appreciate me and all that. No. You don't need it. If you've discovered yourself, even if you do a kindness to someone, because there are people, even when you do good to them, they interpret it in a way that you don't even imagine. What they will tell you, as in when you remember it, it can push you to tears. But when you know that the interpretation of this person wasn't my reason of doing it, I did good to this person because it is good to be good, then you move on. You won't be blocked. Then you'll be able to know how to live your life every day, so that you'll be a happy person. Your happiness does not depend on the other person, but to you. Your happiness is to you. Your life depends on you. What you become depends on you. Your principles of life, you'll be the one to respect it. Then others will respect it. But when you don't respect your principles of life, you jump into whatever people say, you accept whatever people say, then your life will be I don't know how to put it. You'll be carried away by the wind at every time. As in, you become so easy to go. Sometimes I don't know how to use the word. Meaning that you don't have a word of your own. So whatever that is needed can be gotten from you. So try to check up yourself, discover yourself, set up your principles, then live a life that is worth living. And you'll be a happy person. I pray the Lord will help us to understand.